Welcome back to the Morning Mindset edition of the Live, Build, Change podcast. My name is Kerry Green. I'm so glad you joined me. I want you to know that I see myself as a brother or a sister of yours on this journey of faith as we endeavor to follow Jesus Christ wholeheartedly. And these morning mindsets are my attempts to help you, to encourage you. And they encourage me at the same time because I'm learning from God's Word how He wants me to set my mind for a given day or a specific situation. We've been attempting to do that by looking at the life of Moses. And we're up to Exodus chapter 3. And Moses is out in the land of Midian. He's run away from Egypt because his life was in danger from killing an Egyptian. And Moses is out in the desert keeping the flock of his father-in-law, who is the priest of Midian, a religious figure out in the area. And he was out watching his flock one day. And verse 2 tells us, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. So imagine that, a bush with a flame inside of it. And there's an angel of the Lord in there somehow. I don't know if Moses really could see the image or a figure of an angel. I don't really know. But Moses says to himself, when he sees this bush, I will turn aside to see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. So the bush is burning, but it's not burning up. That's something I would want to turn aside to see. And so he goes, and the Lord sees him there, and God calls out to him from out of the bush, and he says, Moses, Moses. And Moses replies, he says, here I am. And then God says, do not come near. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place on which you're standing is holy ground. And he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Now, this is a setting in an environment we're obviously foreign to. We've never seen a burning bush. We've never been in the actual presence of God. And this is the beginning of God relating to Moses in a way that perhaps he never related to any other person that we know of, where he relates to Moses, so to speak, face to face. And we see God even say that later on in Moses' story. But right now, this is the first time Moses has really encountered God in a personal way. And he sees this burning bush as this sign, this tangible evidence of God's presence. And God calls to him. And he warns him, don't come near, take the sandals off your feet. The place you're standing is holy ground. What does that mean? What's the significance of him not coming near and having to take off his sandals? Well, it seems to me that God is trying to impress upon Moses his own lack of holiness compared to God, whose presence he is in. You see, Moses is standing there, dirty, dusty from the trail, and it's not that dirt or dust themselves make you unholy, but they're like symbols, they're indicators of a deeper reality, that Moses was a sinful man, and believe me, after what had happened with Moses killing the Egyptian, you know he knew that. You know he felt his own guilt and his own sin. I mean, just look at your own life and how much you still carry the weight of those things you've done wrong or the mistakes you've made. Moses was right there, and God's pointing out to him, you are in the presence of holiness, of absolute purity. Take the appropriate posture. Prepare yourself rightly. And Moses bows and hid his face because he was afraid to look at God, because God was holy and he was not. I don't know if you felt the weight of that fact, that God is holy and you are not. And we're going to unpack a little more tomorrow exactly what that means and why it's important. But for now, just ponder it. Ponder it today as you go through your day. And we'll talk more on tomorrow's Morning Mindset.